Welcome to Locking in Your Radio Calls, Part 2. This is for untowered airports. So our calls are going to sound a little bit different at untowered airports. The airport I've picked here is one that you will probably frequent, especially on your cross-country solos. This is E25, Echo 25. This is Wickenburg. Now the runways are 5 and 2-3. We're going to be looking at it from the perspective of 5 today, using a left-hand traffic pattern, which is your standard pattern at most airports. So, getting right into it, the first thing you want to do is make your taxi call. So just like we said at the towered airports, except this time there's no information or weather information for you to tell. You're just telling all the traffic in the area, and you are going out on the CTAF, which is the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. And so that's for all the traffic in the area to hear what you're going to do. You're just going to tell them what you're doing. And so if I'm going to make that call, again, I'm telling them who I am and what I'm doing. So this time it would sound like this. Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is going to taxi via Alpha for runway 5. And then you're just going to do it. You also want to repeat on the front end and on the back end where you're at. So I would say Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is going to taxi via Alpha for runway 5, Wickenburg traffic. So you want to repeat it twice so that if there's other airports on the frequency, they aren't getting the misunderstanding of thinking that you're transmitting at their airport when you're at Wickenburg. So we've now taxied down to the runway, and then we've got another hold short call. Our hold short call is going to sound something like this. Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is departing runway 5, staying in the pattern, left closed traffic, Wickenburg traffic. And what you just told them is that you were going to depart runway 5, you are going to make left closed traffic, and you are going to stay in the pattern. Now, at a non-towered airport, what you need to remember is that you need to be continually making radio calls so that people know where you're at if they're coming from other places. And so as you depart, each one of the legs, as you know from your ground studies, is going to be upwind, crosswind, downwind, base, and final. Now the one we do not need to call is upwind because you called that you were departing, so you do not need to call that. But as soon as you turn crosswind, you need to make your next call. So this would sound like this. Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is crosswind, left crosswind, for runway 5, Wickenburg traffic. Now that you're in the crosswind and you're all set up, you now need to make your next call because you're about to be turning downwind. You will say, Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is downwind for runway 5, Wickenburg traffic. You can also let them know which downwind you're in because that will help clarify where to look for you on the airport. Now they should already know because it's an established traffic pattern, but it never hurts to say left downwind when you're making that call. Your next call will sound exactly the same, but this time it will be as you're turning base. Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is turning left base for runway 05, Wickenburg traffic. Now, comes to your final. You want to clear that final, and you're going to do the exact same thing over again, just letting them know that you are on final. So Wickenburg traffic, Lightsport 160 Echo Alpha is final for runway 05, Wickenburg traffic. Now, there are some different calls that you'll make when you're at a non-towered airport outside of these 4 separate calls. So also, when you're departing the pattern, you need to let them know when you're at a non-towered airport. So you will say, Wickenburg traffic, departing the area to the southeast, Wickenburg traffic, right? Now you don't want to forget your call sign in there like I did, but that is what you would say in that scenario. Lastly, when you're coming to enter a non-towered airport, much like I say for the towered airports, although this one is actually a FAA recommendation for non-towered airports is 10 miles out. So if you're 10 nautical miles out, you want to let the traffic know. So as you can see here, the aircraft is going to be to the west and he's going to be kind of to the northwest. So he would say, let's say Wickenburg traffic, 123 Alpha Bravo is about 10 nautical miles to the northwest, planning to come in on the 45 to join the downwind for runway 05. And what this tells us is that he is going to come in 45 degrees offset from the downwind. So right here, he is going to join that left downwind for runway 05. And that concludes locking in your radio calls for untowered airports. Thank you.